Good afternoon. First, want to start with sending my prayers and thoughts with the University of Virginia football team, the university. I'm just praying for peace and comfort for all those involved, the families of the young men, the football team, the coaching staff. You know, specifically, I know Coach Elliott. And then obviously, or maybe not obviously, but Des Kitchens and I were colleagues for 3 years at North Carolina State. He's currently the offensive coordinator. And so just heart goes out to them in such a difficult time. I do know that, you know, both Tony and Des and that staff is made of the right stuff to be the right kind of presence in such a tough, difficult time. But, man, what a sad story. And hopefully there's some positive that can come from this tragedy. With that, you know, for us, this is a big week. It's senior week. And it's an opportunity for us to acknowledge and show our appreciation to all the seniors for all that they have done for our program, whether they chose to be here for the last 6 months or whether they've been here for the last 5 to 6 years. And in Barrett's case, his whole life. We just really appreciate what they've done and the sacrifices that not only they've made, but their parents and their fans and their families to come to the games and put a really good product on the field. And I think these 21 seniors that we have represented the Mizzou football Tigers in the right way. And they are true sons to this university and this state. Jack Abraham, quarterback from Oxford, Mississippi, graduated from Southern Miss, transferred here to give us an opportunity to play quarterback, has done everything we've asked him to do as far as be a great teammate and a leader on this football team. Plans on enrolling in dental school and following in the steps of his father and continuing a practice of being a dentist there. So good news is I'm going to be able to have the ability to get my teeth cleaned later in life. Barrett Bannister, wide receiver, Fayetteville, Arkansas. What an incredible story he is. A guy who chose to walk on here. Now has over 1,000 yards receiving, over 100 catches, and just does all the little things right. Third and Bannister, you know, just somebody who you can count on, and really excited for him to walk this year. He's going to have that rare distinction of walking twice for senior day. DJ Bullard, offensive line, Fenton, Missouri, walk-on who's contributed to this football team, will graduate in the spring of 23. Kabet Chepator, tight end from Carroll Stream, Illinois, graduated undergrad in 21, master's in 22, fall of 22. A young man who walked on our football team, has not and earned a scholarship, was a walk-on tryout, similar to Boo last year, and just somebody who shows up every day and puts in a lot of work, and really proud of him. Toski Dove, wide receiver from Denton, Texas, undergrad spring of 22, master's certificate the fall of 23, made a big-time catch against Tennessee on fourth down. Obviously, I'll always remember his flea flicker versus LSU in 2020. Big catch right there that led to the first touchdown of the game and gave us a 7-point lead. Big-time catch versus South Carolina in 2020 on a 9-ball to give us the first touchdown of the game, too. Bobby Lawrence, offensive line, St. Joseph, Missouri, spring of 22, graduates with a master's certificate in the fall of 23. Recently engaged. I like to call Bobby the pride of St. Joe. Just really wants to be an athletic director in the future. And so really proud of Bobby Lawrence for his commitment to our team and this university and doing things the right way. It's been derailed a little bit from injury standpoint, but shows up and continues to work. Nathaniel Pete, running back, Columbia, Missouri, will graduate in the spring of 23. A transfer, obviously played at Rockbridge, transferred back this year, and appreciate the contributions that he's made to our football program. Zeke Powell from Georgiana, Alabama, is going to graduate. Was a young man who came here the end of July in the COVID year of 2020. Junior college kid. Started at South Alabama, went to junior college, came here. Has had ups and downs throughout his career. Started as in his first year, and then last year had to face battle competition, battled back. Disappointed that he didn't get to finish the year the way he wanted to because of an injury, but really proud of him for the way he's responded these last 3 weeks with getting his surgery and getting his academics in order and getting that that second part of what we talk about, chase two dreams, a life with football and a life outside of the game, and getting his degree. Trenton Cedarwall, offensive lineman, Ozark, Missouri, just had a birthday. Appreciate all he's contributed to our team. Richard Taylor, offensive lineman from Ellenwood, Georgia, who graduated in the spring of 21 and should have complete his master's certificate in the fall of 22, or grad certificate in the fall of 22. A young man who worked extremely hard, was Tyler Beatty's roommate, and earned a scholarship last fall for everything that he did. Connor Wood from Meridian, Idaho, transferred from Montana State, a guy who has played a lot of football for us, a lot of positions on the offensive line, has a great attitude every single day, shows up to work, has a bright future in front of him. He's going to be used to weather like this today. No problem for him practicing today at all. DJ Coleman, defensive end from Atlanta, Georgia, graduated from Jacksonville State, transferred here, has worked extremely hard to be a very productive player for us. And we appreciate his belief in us and his willingness to embrace his role, whatever it was throughout the season. Tyrone Hopper, defensive end from Roswell, Georgia, another career seventh-year guy, has graduated from UNC and works real hard for us and again, embraces his role, whether it's 10 reps a game or 20 reps a game, does whatever we ask him to do. Trajan Jeffcoat, defensive end, Columbia, South Carolina, graduates in the fall of 22. Obviously has been a big-time player for our university for a long time, and really appreciate all that he's done, battling through adversity throughout his career and walking to get his degree. Martez Manuel, safety from Columbia, Missouri, summer of 23 is when he will complete his degree. Martez brings a lot of energy and enthusiasm. He loves this city. Loves representing and playing for the University of Missouri, and we're really proud of him. Isaiah McGuire, defensive end, Tulsa, Oklahoma, graduates in the summer of 23, a young man who's worked really hard to develop into our most consistent defensive player and affects the game. Was our defensive MVP last year and is looking to be that same player for us this year. Devin Nicholson, linebacker, Detroit, Michigan, graduates in the summer of 23. Darius Robinson, defensive tackle from Southfield, Michigan, graduates in the spring of 23. Jelani Williams, safety from St. Louis, Missouri, graduates in the fall of 22. A guy who's battled a lot of injuries and consistently shows up, does everything we ask, is ready at a moment's notice. And as long as I'm coaching, I'll remember Jelani's hit in that bowl game on fourth down. Obviously it led to an injury, but man, he came up, filled the hole, got him down, and gave us a chance to get the ball back to go down and take the lead in that game. Special teams, Jake Hoffman, long snapper from Kearney, Missouri. I think I said that wrong, Kearney, Missouri. And just a special young man. When he gave his senior talk in fall, talked about he grew up coming to the University of Missouri football games and dreamed about being a Tiger, and as now his dream has become reality. Obviously earned a scholarship and does a heck of a job for us. Sean Ketting, kicker from Columbia, Missouri. Sean's been through a lot, being from here, earning a scholarship, having personal difficulties he's had to work through with family-related issues. Just really proud of Sean and his commitment to our team and continuing to play and show up every day for us. These seniors deserve this week for us to, again, show our appreciation to them for all that they've done. And we have one of the unique traditions in college football that if you win on your senior day, the seniors get to go and get a rock from the M and they get carried off the field by their teammates. And so that's our focus this week. That's our focus this week, is to celebrate these seniors, to make it about them, to play to our standard, not to play to an opponent, but to play to our standard, to get better at the simple things, to execute at a higher level than we have the last 2 weeks, to play to our standard, to play and to be excellent in the simple things that we can improve on, and to make sure that when this game's over, our seniors get the opportunity that they've worked so hard to get. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Eli, the word senior is a little bit of a moving target still for the next 2 or 3 years. Is the fact these guys are going through senior day an indication this is their last game, or is that all decided? Not last game, but last year, or is that decided after the year? I know some of them can.
The long and short of it is I don't know. There's a lot of guys on here who are confirmed with what their plans are and what they will be doing moving forward in the future. But there are still a handful that have decisions that need to be made, maybe after a bowl game or in consultation with some other factors. Maybe paperwork coming back from the NFLPA and that sort of thing. So, like you said, when I think you opened up this, when your question was seniors is kind of a moving target. We're trying to do the very best we can with some uncharted waters here.
How much has that changed roster management these days with that year that's still out there? I mean, not everybody has the COVID year on your roster, but some still do.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because you have the COVID year, you have transfer ability, you have guys who could go to the NFL. I think the good news what the NCAA did was allow for an 85 for 85. But what you're a little bit what you're a little bit handicapped by is not for sure knowing how many high school players you can recruit versus what's going to be a transfer. For us right now, we currently have 14 high schoolers committed. We only have really 18 scholarships available. We're in, really a target of trying to hit 16 high school guys, and then after that, transfers. We haven't really been recruiting high school guys to take those transfer spots, so that would have to go to the portal. So it's a unique plan, but it's one that I think since 2020 we've kind of adopted this be flexible.
Across college football, have you seen guys, especially quarterbacks, I guess, who benefited from having that sort of extra year of eligibility to develop?
I'm trying to think about across college football right now. I haven't really. I don't know that one. I would think any time you have a year in college football to get better, it's good in order to develop. I think some of the quarterbacks that are playing at the highest levels right now are guys who've gone through some growing pains.
Looked like more designed runs for Brady on Saturday. Was that the idea going in, or was that, hey, this is working, we're going to stick with it as the game unfolds?
Both. I felt like, again, in the South Carolina game, we kind of had a template. And then, obviously, in the fourth quarter of Georgia, Brady was able to use his legs to get going and I think play a little bit better. And so trying to incorporate that combined with what they allow you to do.
Eli, and some of those fourth and shorts, maybe you're 40, where you punted against Tennessee. What was the thought process behind punting on some of those, and would you have decided differently looking back at it?
There was one fourth and short in the first of the game, correct? And the score was 14-7.
Yeah, and a couple more later in the game.
And then there was another one later in the game that we went for, and then there was another game that we went for, but we got a penalty and backed it up to 4th and 6. So the first one at 14-7 felt like we were still in the game and didn't want to give them obviously a short field, and so obviously play the game the way we felt like we need to play it. Don't put our defense in a bad position. In the fourth quarter, it was either 49-24 at that point. Yeah, it was. Because then they made the field goal to go 52. We went with a play that we'd been running a lot. We just hadn't ever got to the second part of that play, which was to flip it out to Elijah. Obviously didn't execute that. Felt like we had an opportunity there from the look. And then the last one was we were going for it on 4th and 1, but when we got the penalty, I think at that point it was 59 to 21, and at 4th and 6 at midfield. I felt like it. Didn't want to do anything else to give them the ball that close, trying to preserve maybe another touchdown. Obviously, that didn't work, but that was the thought process. And that's the only 3 that I can recall, but if I'm wrong on that.
Your defense has not had many instances this year where they've kind of got to bounce back from getting punched. I mean, what's been your sense the last couple of days of where those guys are at after what happened on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think from top to bottom, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, we all felt like we didn't play to the standard that we needed to starting, really in the third quarter. And I think that's all of us have the ability to either hide from that or face it. and we're not going to hide from it. We're going to face it, and we have an opportunity this week to play to our standard, and obviously we didn't do that.
You know, those seniors on your D-line, Isaiah and Jeff Coat, Darius, like, they've been through a lot here, and last year was tough on them, I'm sure, but just
Yeah.
what's it been like to see them kind of have this year that they have had, put it all together, and that's been a strength of your team?
Yeah, really proud of all three of those guys. Really, Darius has been such a leader since really I've been here in his commitment to his body and work ethic and development, and hasn't always been able to play. He's had injuries the previous 2 years that he's missed extended time, but this year has been able to play consistently, and I think he's played his best football the last 3 games. I mean, he had a really good game against this opponent. And Isaiah McGuire had a really good game against this last opponent. Didn't show up necessarily, but those guys have been giving us a chance each week. And I felt like, other than, obviously there was a couple of big runs that spit out there, but I thought those guys provided pressure on the quarterback and were condensing the pocket and got sacks. And, Darius is a real matchup problem in the inside. And so been really proud of those 3 guys and their commitment to each other and commitment to this team and commitment to growth. And I think they're all 3 going to be rewarded in April.
A couple guys that may have missed him being mentioned, but I don't know if Hiron and Chad maybe had gone through senior day last year, or if Hiron's already decided he's going to try to get a waiver, or what the situation with those 2 is.
Yeah, my conversations with Hiron and his parents, we're going to apply for a medical red shirt for this year, and we feel confident that the NCAA will grant that, and we're very excited that if that's granted, he would spend another year with us, and that's really for him the best possible outcome for him to be able to rehab, retrain, and still have an opportunity to play at the next level. And so that was something that we had been working towards, and why we felt like the bye week was the target week. If he could have gotten back and played, then we would have done that, but just never got to where we felt comfortable that he was going to get enough reps to put himself in a position to play at the next level. And so for us, that's a huge opportunity for us to be solidify our offensive line for next year and give us another big-time offensive tackle who's got a lot of game reps. Chad Bailey has another year of eligibility, and so right now he is not walking in senior day because he wants to finish out his opportunity to play football, and so really excited about that. A young man whose best football is still ahead of him and continues to improve and be a leader on our football team, and so that's a big time get for us to be able to retain those 2 players.
With the stakes of the next 2 weeks vis-a-vis a bowl game, how much of the focus is on the message of the importance of that versus?
I'm only focused on senior week. The only message for us and our football team is these seniors this week and getting the rock. Chase 2 rabbits, you'll catch none. We're focused on what it is for us to do to honor our seniors, to play to our standard, and to be excellent at the simple things. And that's really the message for us. That there's nothing else besides that. There's only this week. There's only today's practice. Our message has always been and will continue to be 1-0. And the one that's this week is, for our seniors, this is what you come here and play for, so you have an opportunity to carry that rock off. So you've put in a lot of work to get that tangible reward. So that's what we're here for.
With this being the senior days, there's still an opportunity for some of the younger players that maybe haven't seen as much game time to get into this game this weekend.
We're going to play to our standard. I have no idea what that final score or what that game's going to hold, and so I have no idea whoever's earned the opportunity to play is going to play based off the game. So I haven't really even considered anything other than playing to the standard, if that makes sense.
Eli, I know a couple of years ago you had Nick Bolton walk out senior day, even though he was strictly a junior because he was considering going to the NFL. Is
Yep.
there anyone this year who's making that consideration of walking out senior day?
The guys that are listed are the guys that are listed right now. So these are the guys that have told us that they're seniors, and not told us that we've we've communicated with and have celebrated with. And one of the cool traditions we have is that we have a senior dinner to start the year, and they all get fitted for suits, and we buy them a suit so that when they have their opportunity to go interview for a job, they're already prepared with interview suit. And so this is something that's been going on all year, and this is the group of seniors. I can't speculate on anything else besides that.
Is there a reason you don't do it before the actual final home game?
Well, the consideration this week was a couple of things. With next week being Thanksgiving, didn't know with all the students being gone and all that, was hopeful that this would be, and it's still hopeful. Our students have been awesome. They've been incredible. Really want those guys to show out. And then just also that last game is in a compressed 6-day window, and there's a lot of things that are going on. So just trying to reduce the amount of stress there with that week and put that this week, and then next week focus on the final game.
Coach, with this Mexico State team, they've won 4 of their last 5. They had a pretty solid defense. Obviously, they had to play on the level of competition themselves. Good defense. What have you seen from that defense, and what do you trying to do?
Yeah, I'm glad we got to these guys. Yeah, absolutely. They've won 3 of their they've won 3 in a row. Obviously, scored a lot of points. Play a very unique style of defense. They are very multiple and play a lot of pressure and coverage. They've got a lot of transfers. I think they have 5 returning starters, and the rest are transfers who've transferred in. They've got big size up front. I mean, when you look at them, Lazarus Williams and Justin Saguaro, both 6'5", 6'3", 270. So they've got size. Their nose is a 300-pounder. They've got multiple linebackers that play at a really high level. Their back end, their nickel is a transfer from Michigan, from Detroit, who was a 4-star player. On the offensive side of the ball, they've got a really good scheme. Obviously, I think both, all the head coach, the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator spent time at Pittsburgh State, so they're familiar with the area. The defensive coordinator was at SEMO last year, and so a lot of respect for what they're doing. They play really hard on special teams, and obviously have played their best football late in the year with a commanding victory over Lamar last week. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. I know our staff knows that. I think our players understand that. And again, that's why I've been preaching about we have to play to our standard. We can't just assume that this is a team that's going to come in here. I mean, they're going to want to make a name for their program and their self, and they're playing at a high enough level to do that. So we have to play to our standard, and that's the challenge for us. And again, we've got to do the simple things well. They do a lot of things on defense. They do a lot of things offensively that make it difficult for you. So we can't get caught up in chasing a lot of scheme. We've got to do what we do at a really high level. We got to block better. We got to have our hands inside. We have to have better tackling angles. We have to identify what our matchups are in man-to-man and make sure we have the right technique. We have to run our routes at the right depth. We have to get through our progressions at the quarterback position. And so all of those things are things that we've been doing since we've been here. We just got to do them really well this week in order to have an opportunity to win.
Anything else?
Thank you.